Everything is clear?
Yeah. My goal is for us to be your most difficult guests on any of your podcasts. So, guys, let's make his life the hardest possible.
I'm gonna be annoying.
Got it. More coughing and farting. Deal.
Thank you.
This shit, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Steel Shout. And this is going to be a special episode. This is going to be the last episode of the year. This is the Steel Awards episode. And today we're going to make it special. I am with three amazing people who've been on the podcast and been on interviews, they're not guests. They're Steel Shout. They are the foundations of Steel Shout as well. Today I'm with Maan from Ananahan, Mozej, and the one and only Unmuted. How's it going?
There's a few other people that are unmuted, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's... I'm the Middle Eastern unmuted.
So, guys, I'm truly excited for this episode. It's been a crazy year, guys. It's been really crazy. I mean, we had a lot of music been going on, and but first, before going into the music and talking about the subject, I want each and everyone to introduce themselves, even though I know you, but for people who are, in case they're listening to Steel Shout for the first time, I want each and every one of you to introduce themselves. Let's start with Maan. Maan, introduce yourself.
Yep. So I'm Maan. I play drums and produce Ananahan. And I am excited to be here.
He also does the artwork.
And I do the artwork. Thank you, Mozej.
That's why the logo is so good.
Thanks.
And the video clips as well go.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm truly humbled.
He is the Ananahan all over. And by the way, Mozej, you haven't been on Steel Shout, but you've been on the interview for your song.
My debut, yes. This is my Steel Shout debut.
Yeah, this is gonna be the debut. Dude, introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Mozej. I go by the artist name Mozej. I am a guitarist, mainly guitarist based out of Saudi, who produces, mixes, records, and writes music based out of my home studio here based in Jeddah. And pleasure to be here.
And Unmuted, introduce yourself.
Luckily, I do this 3 times a week on stream, so I've got it down to a science. I just usually go, my name is Adnan, I scream in a metal band called Svengali. 3 times a week I stream on Twitch. I also release my own music under the name Unmuted, and if you like rock and metal, hit the follow.
See, there you go.
Classic.
Like, subscribe.
Dude,
Yeah, but follow Steel Shout for this one, don't follow me.
Dude, I can't even introduce myself. So I'm Ace. I do Steel Shout, podcast stuff and like that, and blah blah blah. Rock and metal scene in Middle East and rock and metal music all over. See, as simple as that. I truly don't know what to say even more. So guys, how was 2022 with you for experiencing the music all over? Let's start with the Unmuted. How was the music scene for you? International first. Let's talk about the international scene all over. How was the music for you this year?
I mean, it was good. A lot of the bands I listened to released some good stuff. I got to meet a lot of people through the podcast and through shows and things like that. But I generally hyper-focused on the Middle Eastern metal scene in 2022. It's always been something that I've always focused on, but I think like we kicked the year off in February with the Unmuted Battle of the Bands, and I just wanted to bring more value to the Middle Eastern metal scene in terms of like things that we don't see, like Battle of the Bands or reviews and React content and any of that stuff. I kind of wanted to spread that awareness, but I drew inspiration from the international scene, obviously. So there's a lot of There's a lot of things that the international metal scene was doing that I tried to pull into the Middle Eastern.
Cool, man. And dude, I think the Battle of the Bands really kicked off back then. You had many judges. You had Dan Sugarman from Ice Nine Kills. You had Julian. You had Mark from Chimera, and
Mike Mallion from Monuments.
Monuments as well.
Looney from Coat of Arms. JM from a band called Svengali that we don't talk about.
Oh yeah, that recently performed that. I missed the performance in Dubai. God, man, I wish I was there, dude. Honestly.
It was a great show. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we're gonna bring the Dubai Metal Fest there as well. And Mozej, I think you are one of the most people when I approached to you. By the way, we're gonna talk about this later, but this is Mozej's idea for this episode. By the way, I give him the credit for this episode. Yes.
Me? No, I mean, okay.
Yes,
All right,
it was you. I remember that clearly. But
Okay.
I think you had really difficulty in describing the music for you in 2022 all over, for all the singles, for all the music, for all the albums that's been going on. So let me hear it from you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was. I mean, I second what Adnan said. I mean, it was a great year, for. We're talking about international music, so for me, from the perspective of international music, I mean, there were so many good albums that came out, so many. I mean, a couple of new bands as well that I've discovered. All around, like some great productions, some interesting trends that like I've jumped on, like this new rise of this modern old school death metal kind of trend that's been happening recently as well. Like all these bands that are modern but are like replicating old school death metal sounds. So a lot of interesting things. And I'm overall pretty happy with the albums and the music on the international landscape, I guess. Personally, as well as I got to experience a lot of live shows as well. I ended up like going to some of my some interesting venues and experience some interesting bands live as well. So yeah, pretty good year.
And Maan, tell us about your experience for this year in music.
And I agree with what Adnan and Mozej said. It's been a great year. I feel it's been the culmination of all the kind of like COVID projects. It's like 2022 was, every big band or every band that I'm into at least released an album. Korn, Slipknot, and there were a lot of comebacks. Blink-182, and so I'm just excited for the future. I'm happy to be in this year and excited for 2023 more than I am, or more than what I saw in 2022. I feel it's going to be a good year as well.
That's a great point. It was literally the year of comeback albums and like tour albums. It wasn't like, we're gonna do a cover of a band we like on YouTube, everybody in a separate room kind of piece together their webcam footage kind of thing. It was like, no, these are real albums now. We're back.
Yeah, there's a couple of bands actually that did that. So this year, I don't know if you guys can maybe remember others, but to me, Alexis on Fire is a band that like for a while they haven't released an album, and then this year they just released an album like early this year. And the Mars Volta, like after I don't know how many years, whatever, it's disappointing. Like it was a kind of a disappointing album for me, but whatever, they came out and released a new album. I don't know, is there anybody else that I'm forgetting? Like, I can't remember right now. Cave In actually is one of those bands as well. Cave In, yeah, it's been a while since they released an album, and then this year they came out with a really good like record as well. So yeah, I can't think of
big ones like Lamb of God released something that nobody was expecting to hear from them, and one of the biggest ones just dropped a random song out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, yesterday was it?
Like yeah.
Yeah, it was just
what do you think of that? I mean, I don't know if we're derailing the subject right now, but what do you think of the song?
No. Keep on going.
Yeah.
I really like it. I really like that thrash element. It sounds like Anthrax fucked Motor. Can we say fucked? Yeah, we can, right?
Yes, you can. You can do whatever you want. There's no ban.
Sounds like Anthrax fucked Motorhead and gave some double bass energy to Lars. It's amazing. I love it. Yeah. And James's voice is back up in that high register where they kind of started again. So I really like it. I fuck with it. Everyone's like, oh, they invented the sound. Of course, it sounds like old Metallica. Like they made it.
It's
So,
exactly. It sounded like Kill 'Em All. Like it sounded like
Yeah.
a song that just came out of Kill 'Em All, and with a good production as well. So I don't know. Like I really enjoyed the song as I was listening to it, and it's for the first time I found myself interested in hearing that record when it comes out. You know, like
Yeah.
Metallica, like the last few efforts, like I haven't really been interested in what they've been doing. But this one, I don't know. I don't know if it's just, you know, kind of nostalgia or feeling like, oh, you know, they're coming back with something that that sounds great. But whatever, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, they've been. You know that I had this. There's a mixture between their classic albums and their new sound. There's a mix in this song, and I wouldn't say it's their top, but I truly enjoyed it. That made me really excited to hear what more songs that they're gonna make.
boys, can I take 2 secs?
Yeah.
Someone's just knocking at the door.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell them to
yeah.
go away.
Yeah, take your time. Man, have you heard the new Metallica, or you're not a fan of
I
Metallica?
did, man. I love Metallica. And I especially from like an aesthetic point of view, I loved the music video.
Mm.
To me, that was just beautiful. Like the lighting, or like even the artwork, it was like so simple, but just like straight to the point. And I like that. I like their choice of colors. So from an aesthetic point of view, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Speaking of, I think you're familiar also with the artwork, because you've been doing all the work for Ana Nahn artworks as well. So I think once I saw it, I had like, I think man is gonna love this artwork as well.
I did, man. I really did.
Mm.
Like, and I saw the artwork for the album itself. And it's nice, but I especially like the artwork for the single.
Yeah, true. The M.
And I have to say, I really enjoyed their last album. Maybe Mozej doesn't agree with me, but there were like some bangers on that.
Hardwired.
Yeah.
Hardwired.
Yeah. Like Moth into a Flame. That's my favorite.
I think again, like it wasn't that I hated it or loved it. It's just that it's so, for me, it was so bland. I don't know. For me personally, I found it bland, and I couldn't like get into it. But this new track definitely kind of excited me a little bit. I don't know, but yeah, it's really cool. I'm trying to find the artwork because I forgot what it looks like.
I think that's one of the things that a lot of people have sent me already, has been like more commentary on the fact that it's yellow, or that the artwork it just doesn't represent what they think Metallica should represent, was very telling. Because that's what, when a band is that big, or when a band is that influential in a lot of people's different lives, like you attach yourself to what you think they should be, and if they don't meet that requirement, you're like, fuck that shit, man. Why is it yellow? You know, it's like, bro, it's their fucking artistic expression. You either like it or you don't. And I think a lot of people, I saw like outrage, like actual outrage when that song dropped. And I posted on Instagram some like one of those stickers where it just fill in the questionnaire. Let me know what you think. And I think I have like 120 that I still haven't reposted, but there's some angry people about that one song, man.
Wow.
It's fucking insane.
Dude,
It's really interesting.
listen, I think there are people are divided on this song. Either people, they hate Metallica and they just keep on hating them. People used to hate Metallica, or people used to love Metallica and they hate them now, or people they just worship Metallica for whatever they do. But in the end, it is what it is. They're just doing what their stuff, and dude, just fuck it. They can do whatever they want. It's a good song, and I'm excited for what's coming. That's
I'm
from
more like Mozej, where it's like that didn't work for me that one time. This one works for me. That, like, I don't brand the full band as what I think it should be. Like, you know, fucking Bring Me the Horizon, we're deathcore. Now they're basically Ed Sheeran sounding band. Like, everybody changes. Doesn't matter.
Let me put on my Steel Shout hat for a second and ask you guys favorite Metallica album, all three of you.
Oh,
Mine's easy.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Ride the Lightning.
Oh, okay.
unmuted.
Mine
Fist
is
bump,
pretty
fist
nuts,
bump,
you know?
fist bump, fist bump, fist bump.
There you go. with the mirror, I used way too much brain power to try and figure out where you were there. But yeah.
Definitely Ride the Lightning. Definitely Ride the Lightning. It was the album that got me into Metallica. People, I was exposed to Metallica when they, in the era where people are talking about Nothing Else Matters. I've listened to it maybe a couple of times. Then I ditched it out. I told myself, no, Metallica is not for me. Then I listened to Fade to Black. That's where I got to Metallica. The entire Ride the Lightning album.
Yeah. For me, it's definitely Master of Puppets, and
Nice choice.
but that's the album that's my favorite Metallica album. But the album that got me into Metallica was the Black Album. Like I remember, like
Yeah,
going
same.
I was in the
Same,
UK and I bought that CD because I had heard the S&M version on MTV, and I
Nice.
wanted to hear Nothing Else Matters, and it sounded nothing like the TV version.
Yeah.
And I ended up loving that album. But then, of course, later on, Master of Puppets is definitely the album.
Yeah.
Man, your favorite album is?
I do like the Black Album, but I think I wouldn't call it. I can't call it my favorite, but I think it would have to be the best Metallica album for me is either Load or Reload. I like the new direction. I like the switch in their sound. I
Yeah.
felt like the maturity in their writing, and I just loved it. It
know
has
what-
such great songs: Outlaw Torn, Bleeding Me, and Memory
Yeah.
Remains.
I was the standard metalhead riding the bandwagon back then. Like I love Load and Reload now, but when they first came out, I was like, what is this
I can
fucking
imagine.
dad rock shit? Like what? I was that shitty
my God, they
metalhead.
cut
That's
their
like
hair.
that's not metal enough.
Wow. So Metallica
So
did. Yeah.
I just think I never gave them enough of a chance back then, but I fucking love those songs now.
I think Metallica dropping the new song was unexpected thing before recording this episode, and dude, look at what happened into talking to this. But
I love that. It's so refreshing that they dropped it out
Yes.
of nowhere. No announcement,
Yeah.
nothing. Just
yeah, it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
truly out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But
Actually,
I-
sorry, we're all stealing the steel shouts.
No.
But because Mozej and I actually talked about this on the podcast, the idea of like teasers and releasing stuff, and I've been finding more and more people that just go, here it is, and it's been as if not more effective than the build-up, which is kind of making me question everything I've done up until this point.
Remember what wasn't dead? Remember what wasn't dead with their song?
Yeah, they just dropped it as well.
Exactly. It's really what? Wait, what? When? How? That's how we came.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, guys, I've been listening to a lot of albums, a lot of music this year, and I've been trying to narrowing them down. But see, this is Mozej's reaction. He couldn't narrow them down. I couldn't really shrink into my. But, we have to talk about our top stuff that's been listening to this year. Let's start with Maan. So, tell me, what were your top music, international, for this year?
Well, I think I just saw my Spotify Wrapped or whatever it is today, and I was surprised to see that there were some songs that are not from this year that were on my top list. But I guess from this year, I think the most album I listened to was Korn, Requiem. I mean, Korn is my favorite band, and I know that album wasn't like... It was nothing like the album before it, but it's still Korn in a way, and... yeah, when I first heard it, I did not like it. I questioned their choice of mixing, because in some songs the guitar was just too loud, and then you can't hear the bass. But then the more I listened to it, and I noticed like how the songwriting kind of evolved from the last album. Because the last album came from such a sad place for Jonathan when he was singing. Like I think his wife passed away and his mother passed away a while before, so. That album was really super sad and effective. Whereas this album came kind of from a happy place. He said that he's finally happy and content with life, and so it was different, and I liked it. So I think Korn Requiem was my most listened to album. But this year, what else? Do you want me to talk about the other stuff from the year or just the top one?
Yeah, from this year, then you can talk about your discoveries as well. But we're gonna run this later on, just from this year. So
Okay,
Crown
so-
Requiem.
Yeah, Con Requiem, and then so Slipknot dropped an album as well, and they were one of my top favorite bands. I was kind of disappointed with this album. It wasn't like, it just felt like all over the place. I did not like find a connection between the songs. Like there was no clear theme. It just felt that this was their last album with their record company, and they just wanted to drop an album. That being said, I did like a few songs. My favorite is Yen, which was I guess the last single they released. It's a
Yes.
good song. What else? My second favorite band, the Mars Volta, dropped an album also this year, after I think 11 years of not being a band. And it is also, I don't want to say I was disappointed, but it's not what I imagined Mars Volta coming back is gonna sound like. It was very acoustic, very Latin, and it was like the lyrical themes were all about. He had like a lot of fights with the Church of Scientology, and his wife was had problems with a certain Hollywood actor, and there were some lawsuits between them and stuff. So this album was like lyrically all about these issues. So I did not relate to it. I did not like the lineup change in Mars Volta. The drummer is not the same from the last album. The bassist is not the same. So the only three people, or the only two people who are Cedric and Omar, the singer, and the guitarist, producer, everything, are the ones from the previous albums, I guess. So it was interesting, but it wasn't very much what I was looking forward to.
It wasn't like the album that you were expecting to listen to.
Yeah, I mean, like just when I found out that they came back together, I was just imagining,
You
that
know,
my
it-
mind is gonna be blown.
You know, guys, there's something I noticed. A lot of big bands that we truly enjoy and love, among like Slipknot, Megadeth, Arch Enemy, Amon Amarth. I think the big bands, they released disappointing albums this year. You can agree or disagree with me. I think also Unmuted talked about the Slipknot album. He was disappointed in it, and Mozej was talking about Mars Volta. He was disappointing in the album as well. So correct me if I'm wrong. I think the big bands, they've been like, I don't know, are they experimenting or are they going into changes? I don't know. There's something weird about these bands. I mean, even from my favorite from the list, they're not from my usual daily bands that I've been listening to. You can correct me if I'm wrong for this year.
I think it has more to do with the lockdown and the stuff that led up to the album. I mean, Slipknot have been, or at least Jim from Slipknot has been very open about like, it was just, we were disconnected. He didn't write most of the riffs on this album. He usually writes the riffs on the albums. He wasn't involved in the lyric writing. He usually was involved in. Clown had a more hands-on approach with the visual stuff, not with the actual percussion stuff. Like he said, it felt disconnected, and everybody that heard the album said, "This sounds disconnected." You couldn't fake it. So I think it just had a lot to do with the way these albums were built, more than like, all these guys are just releasing shitty albums. Because even like Arch Enemy and a lot of these other bands have had very, very like dissonant sounding stuff compared to their usual things. The only band that did release something that sounded legit was the Halo Effect, and the only reason they did that is because they've been working together forever, then got stuck in one room for a month and wrote all the songs together, and it sounded like a band. I think it was just a lot of people working online that kind of resulted in weird ass albums.
And
I think, yeah, it's definitely a case. Different. It depends on the cases, right? So if you're talking about Megadeth, and this is obviously my opinion and my perspective, but like, يعني خلاص, man. Like the album came out, and the songs are so archaic and so uninspired, and like so, يعني there's no, honestly, like, very boring. It's just, I know that's my opinion, obviously. So like, obviously like other people. So that's why maybe it disappointed a lot of people. They were expecting something, like something new, something interesting, you know, after all these years, and you know, it's just boring, right? It's just a typical thrash metal album like that. That if it came out like 20 years ago, maybe it would have been impressive, but like in this day and age, not really. And then you have the cases like Adnan mentioned, like Slipknot, you know, like the turmoil in the writing process. And then it's also, again, you have another band that released an album that, you know, it came and went and nobody really, and I didn't see anyone really talk about it, is Meshuggah. Like they released an album. It was good, but like, again, you know,
It was
one
just
of those things.
just went
One
by.
of those,
Just went
yeah,
by.
one of those things where it's like, you know, there's so much other innovative stuff happening and interesting stuff happening in the music scene that, you know, like, okay, it's a great Meshuggah album, we love it, it's great, but like, khalas, like you listen to it and then you forget about it, unfortunately.
See how your voice went high when you said it was good? That's my general reaction to everything Meshuggah for the last, 12 years since people have been showing it to me. It's just like, since the first time I saw them live, I was like, it's good. It's exactly like the record. Then I put on the second record and I was like, yeah, I get it. It's good. Like, it's not, I don't hate it. It's not bad. It's just they have a formula and they apply it. And I think that's what you meant about Megadeth. Megadeth just applied the same formula. And that's why we're getting excited about Metallica, because they fucked up the formula and then they're changing things up. And we're like, if Megadeth released that song, we would be like, this is a fucking joke. Megadeth should not be playing this same old thrash shit. But it's because it's Metallica and they threw a wrench in the formula. We're excited about jigga jigga.
Yeah.
Yeah, true that. So, Man, do you have any other top on your list as well?
Well, what else? I'm a big Paramore fan, so they, released a new single. So I'm really looking forward to the album and seeing them live next year.
Did you like the single?
I like the single. I'm not gonna lie.
I did not listen to it.
It's a very catchy song, and it's very well done.
Like I feel in their last album they kind of went 80s, and then with this single they kind of went 60s, which is, I like that. I like the music video.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah.
By the way, Man, you've been excited. You've been excited about something this year, the reunion of Blink 82.
Oh yeah, Blink 182. Yeah.
So,
man,
what are your thoughts about this reunion?
I love it. Like they have turmoil within the band, and they've had for years. So these are like the three main guys. They're not two of the original founders, and then Travis Barker, the drummer. So they kept breaking up and getting back together and breaking up. So this would be, I think, the second time or the third time that Tom is back in the band. And because I really enjoyed their music, and I enjoyed the period when Tom left and they got the new singer from who's from another band, Alkaline Trio, and I loved all that stuff. They did 2 albums with him, and now Tom is back, so I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Thank you, aliens.
Oh yeah, thank you, aliens.
UFOs.
Is it the aliens or the Illuminati?
No.
I think it's
aliens
more
and-
aliens, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's aliens and Kardashians. That's what.
Wow. So,
It's so weird watching like them at that age still sing about the same infantile like girls like weird. They, like,
I think-
kind of weird, but whatever. Like they're fun. They're a fun band.
Yeah, I think they're doing it like now. Obviously, like they're doing it ironically or to be funny, and I think that's the charm of it.
I mean, they've always been doing it, right? Like, I mean, yeah, I guess when they were younger, it's not ironic. It's kind of, but they've always been like that funny, like really great, like funny pop punk band, But it's just weird at this age hearing them talk about like edging or.
it's not a phase, Mom.
There's a great documentary that not a lot of people have seen called The Other F Word. It's about punk bands that were in the 80s and 90s that didn't die. Everybody thought they would make it past 25. And now they're 45 and they have kids and a family and they've paid for a home with their punk music. And it's just the other F word, this family. And like, how do you navigate, like the guy from Rancid with the word fuck tattooed on his forehead and a dominatrix on his cheek or whatever, taking his kid to school going like, don't be rude to your, classmates. And
In school, don't do drugs.
yeah, exactly. It's such a crazy thing because exactly what you said. Like they're standing up there, going "fuck the world, fuck everything," and then it cuts to a scene where they're in the house and they're like, "Don't say that to your sister. That's mean." You know what I mean? And it's just like all these people that never thought they would grew up, and what do you do now? How do you navigate and balance that? And I think exactly like Mozej said, it's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek thing of like, well, we did that, and now we're, in our 40s, early 50s, and we're still saying "fuck the world." It's just.
But I really think
they survived cancer as well and all of that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
still going. So
See, they keep coming back together when something bad happens to one of them. Like first time Travis had like the airplane accident, and that brought them back together. And then they broke up, and now with Mark's cancer. But I think the song "Edging" is like, I don't think the whole album is gonna be like that. I think it's gonna have some maturity. Because that's what they've been doing. The album before that was a weird album. It was really mature, and it was, and even the album before that, they keep like maturing with each album. So I believe "Edging" was just like the only one of its kind that's going to be released. I think everything else is going to be, mature, something for.
It also had shock value. I think for if you want to throw a wrench in the music industry and kind of make some noise. Also, it was around the same time when We Were Young festival was announced. It was everybody was feeling nostalgic. You throw an old school vibe Blink-182 song in there, I think it hit the entire market.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm excited to see them live because I feel they're going to put on a good show. So I don't know, like, how is 2022 Blink-182 show going to be? I don't know.
Blink 2022, there you go.
2022.
You mean 2023?
Yeah, this episode will be on the last day of the year, so yeah, I'm just gonna be 23 back then.
Because man, I saw like The Offspring last year, and they're one of my favorite bands, but the show was the most disappointing show I've ever been to.
I saw them live and it was disappointing too.
Such a shame.
They don't have energy. They don't like perform with good energy as much as the songs do.
It's like the safest show possible. The graphics were like, I don't know, something from like the early 2000s or shade. Like they haven't really evolved, I feel. And then they were relying on the young guys, the new drummer, and to like kind of carry the show. So they were doing the same exact thing. Thank you for being here. Insert city name. We love you. Blah blah blah.
That's one of my biggest fucking pet peeves in the world, and I'm gonna be blasphemous for a second, but I got to see Slayer on their final tour with Lamb of God, Anthrax, and Warbringer opening. And I never imagined in my entire life that I would walk out of a Slayer show halfway through. Wow. I walked out of that show because I wanted to preserve the idea of the Slayer that I saw the first time 20 years ago, instead of this just phoning it in. How you guys doing? You know what? Don't wash, rinse, and repeat. Like, and especially after Lamb of God, like Lamb of God did not leave a single thing on stage. They brought it. He jumped into the crowd. He was doing fucking backflips. Mark Morton was all over the place. They had Art Cruz. You were saying about like the young energy. He was phenomenal, and I like half the reason I picked up drumsticks was because of
Chris Adler.
Chris Adler.
Yeah.
Art was like the nemesis, but then he won me over. And then that, like, the big reveal for me, I was there for Slayer. I wasn't there for Lamb of God. And then Slayer came on, and I was like, no, don't be that guy.
Wow.
And they had all the lights in the world. They had all the pyrotechnics in the world. They had every fucking thing glitching on screen, all of it. But it just looked like, Gary Holt was kind of cool. He still had energy, but it just looked like four dudes that did not want to be there. And I hate going to a show that feels like that.
Shit. I would like also to get back into the top music for. I want to ask Mozej. by the way, guys, fun fact: when I sent you the for the podcast stuff for give me your list, Mozej was struggling. I think he was the one who was struggling in writing the list. So, listen.
The only reason why I was able to give you the list is because you told me I can just say there are honorable mentions beyond 10.
Listen,
Okay,
for everyone who's
so-
watching and listening to the episode on Steel Shout, I'm gonna make a post for each one of the guests that their top music for this year as well, and their honorable mentions as well. So we're gonna just talk about the main things that's been happening in this year, and the rest you can check on Steel Shout Instagram, Twitter, and other accounts. I'm gonna share them there as well. So Mozej, drop your favorite music.
Okay, so I think my I'm gonna follow the same actually path that Maan did, which he looked at his Spotify rap, which completely did not have any of the albums that I'm mentioning today. It's like Converge, Nails, like it's all the stuff that I've been listening to since whatever, like old albums. But I guess that's just a reflection of, you know, some of these albums that came out a bit later. I mean, my favorite album that came out this year is actually literally just came out recently. So there's this band called Flesh Water. Okay, they released an album called We're Not Here to Be Loved, and they're just a new band that got formed. And this album, honestly, like, it's like my favorite album from this year. Like, it just came out and it immediately became my favorite album. Like, I cannot stop listening to it. It has like this amazing combination of it's a almost like a grunge. It has like this tonality of grunge and a little bit of nu metal, but has the tonality of a hardcore band. So it's pretty heavy sounding, but at the same time it has like this grunge feel that's complemented by like a combination of female and like male vocals. And just its songwriting is very smart. It's very catchy, but at the same time can be heavy. And it's no surprise because like the band is an offshoot of another hardcore band called Vain FM. And Vain FM is like one of my favorite new hardcore bands that also like I've discovered this year. I think they've been around for a little while ago, but I just found out about them this year, and they're very innovative hardcore band. So they decided to create this new band, and it's a bit more, I don't know, it can be a little bit accessible, but anyways, go listen to the album. One of the best albums that ever came out this year, and you know, one of my favorites of all time right now. Another band that actually released an album this year they haven't released something in a while, and it's one of my all-time favorite bands, is He Is Legend. They released an album called Endless Hallway, and again, amazing album. Like so there's like there's different types of genres of metalcore, right? There's like there's different flavors of it, and they're considered to be like the southern metalcore flavor. I don't know if it's like Every Time I Die and He's Legend are like kind of thrown together in this kind of category, but they have like this real interesting knack for writing music that sounds fantastical and almost like comes from even the lyrics and the music and the themes is kind of very fantastical, very kind of very theatrical at the same time, very fantastical, very interesting, and really love that album as well. Very catchy, very heavy at the same time, very interesting. So, and then like a couple of albums that came out. So Norma Jean released an album as well. So actually, yeah, like right now as I'm going through the list, I'm realizing a lot of bands like that haven't released an album in a while just came out this year, and they released in contrary to what you said, which is that a lot of the big bands released albums that we didn't like, but actually I like their album. So Norma Jean released an album as well that was really good. I guess I'll wrap up by saying, so that I don't take up too much time, but I guess I'll wrap up by saying that, again, like I mentioned this earlier, like one of my favorite trends from this year is like these bands that have been releasing old school sounding death metal, but like in the modern era. So like Undeath as well, like released one of my favorite albums this year as well. It's really good. And then there's this new band as well called Skella Grind. They just formed, I think, this year, and like the album is so good. Like it's so it has like elements of punk and grindcore, and it's very very like it's a very obvious that they're trying to like bring that old school feel back, but with a lot of modern sensibilities. And like it's female fronted, and like the guitarist and the front woman is female, and like their shows look amazing. I really want to see them live. But yeah, that's it for me. I think I'll just leave it at that.
You forgot Armed for Apocalypse.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
By the way,
Armed
we agree. You and I agree on this band. I think you were the one who suggested this band for me, dude.
Yes, I did.
Yes. They are like. There's a lot of things in their music. I was listening to them and I was like, what the fuck is going on in this music? It's chaotic, it's energetic, and dude, I truly, I don't know how to describe this.
Yeah, they describe themselves, I think, as sludge death metal. Not
sludge
death metal.
Sludge death. Sludge
They call
death.
themselves like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
sludge death. Yeah.
I mean, the tone is very sludgy, but like to me, they just sound like a very heavy, hardcore like. And they do have death metal elements, actually.
Yeah, they had a lot, and the song you gave me, it was Hourglass, I think. Yeah, it was. There are a lot of death metal influences in there. I think, by the way, they are for me, they're one of the best bands that I've been discovered this year.
Yes, they are.
That's
really good. Really good record, high energy, very great sounding as well, well produced, like very great sounding, like heavy album. Just punches you in the face, so good, and sludgy as well. And then I guess because we're talking about sludginess, nastiness, like there's this band called Primitive Man that I've also, man, I just love that record they released this year. It's like an EP, I think. It's like 4 songs and they're very long. And one of them is a cover of Smashing Pumpkins, but it sounds nothing like the Smashing Pumpkins. So like it's a very interesting cover. And then I guess I will wrap up since we're talking about a little bit of like these new death metal bands, Revocation. I don't know. They people call them death metal, but I don't think they are. Like they're
death thrash. They're death thrash.
They're also not new at all. Those are old motherfuckers.
Yeah, no, but I mean they released a record this year, so it's
an
album this year that came out. So yeah, Revocation that record is really good. Like this new record they released this year is really amazing, and it brought me back to listening to them because they've released so many records. I remember that first record that came out that had like very weird Pantera, thrash, death metal kind of influences. I kind of like stopped listening to them for a while, but this new record came out and I kind of started listening to them again. Like they're really good. It's really good.
Yeah, I like those guys a lot. That was one of my favorites for the year too. They just mix so many different things. Like you were expecting the riff to go in a certain way, and they're like, nope. Let's change it up.
Yeah, they're so good. They're so good, Revocation.
Unmuted your top music other than Machine Head.
Machine fucking Head. Yeah, Machine Head is... Rob Flynn can like burp into a microphone. I'll still listen to it. But this particular album, I think... I just think... I don't know if you can tell, but I love people that experiment. I like things that... Like a lot of people don't like a lot of eras of Machine Head because he changed it so much. That's the reason I love Machine Head. I want to fucking rap on a song. I don't give a shit. Like let's have electronic beats. Let's do that. And in this album, he didn't experiment necessarily with the sonic elements, but he experimented with like the song structures and stuff like that, and the way his vocals laid on top of everything, and the fact that his fucking what is he 56. With a full new band lineup, and still releasing like flip a table heavy songs is inspiring to me. I just really think that's
the intro song itself. What was it? Slaughter the Martyr.
Yeah, Slaughter the Martyr.
It was 10-minute song. Dude, that was freaking amazing. That song. You know, I think I listened to the singles they released, Unhallowed, and I can't recall the other 2 singles they released. But I decided to listen to this album. And from the first track, I told myself, nope, this album hits really hard.
Damn. It's not fair because I am a big fan of everything that Machine Head have put out, including the stuff that a lot of Machine Head fans hate. like the Burning Red and all that stuff. But
No, they were good. I wouldn't say they're best, but I enjoyed it.
yeah, no, I think because he started like rapping and doing a bunch of like the metalcore stuff. There was a lot of, you know, the breakdowny things that, and then he did like a lot of Korn kind of. You know, he does the harmonics, but a lot of people hated the early 2000s Machine Head, where he was like more into nu metal. But I was into Korn, so I didn't give a shit. I was like, hey, it sounds like other things that I like. It's good. So I like the entire discography. But yeah, that album smacked me in the face. I really enjoyed that, and it was very inspiring. And because I was writing unmuted stuff at the same time, I was like drawing a lot of inspiration from that stuff. Weird vocal arrangements that have nothing to do with like metal. It was like he looked at an Adele vocal run and just, you know, pitched it down a couple of octaves and sang it over a chorus, and I was like, I want to fucking do that too. This is just fucking. If this was an acoustic song, how would you sing it? And then just take that vocal melody and put it onto metal. And I draw a lot of inspiration from that. But yeah, Machine Head for sure was one of my all times.
What else you have listened to this year as well?
What was my second band? I gave Machine Head. I think I talked a lot about Rob Flynn. I forgot all the other stuff. Machine Head was one that I really like the Halo Effect stuff. They're a band that I was lucky enough to work with and knew about for about 2 years before they actually pulled the curtain on that whole project. I really like the like callback to melodic death metal, and I got to speak to the guys and get to know them a little bit and stuff, and it's just what comes out when you put those four people together in a room.
5. You forgot Michael, or who's the who's
Jasper's kind of it's because he's on vacation. He's not on tour
for
anymore.
Jasper, yeah.
Yeah, he's on sick leave.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's another one that I really enjoyed.
It was an amazing album. I truly enjoyed it. I think I did not check my Spotify yet, but I think it's the most played album this year for me. It was really.
Is it? Okay.
I think I did not check yet.
Yeah, I was trying to fiddle around with my phone while you guys were saying that. Why did I not get my Wrapped? I don't know.
I think you click on the search. Did you click on search?
On search, I think it's gonna show.
In search?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
2022 Wrapped. There we go.
And then go to your artist Spotify app to get your rap for your unmuted stuff.
Ooh.
And you should do that as well. I want to see how many streams you have so far.
Sure, I'll do that.
Hmm?
I see my streams. Oh, there it is. I see it. This is cool.
Yeah. But you've been talking about the Halo Effect. I think the album is the band itself is like a mix between Dark Tranquillity and In Flames. It's
Yep.
like if Dark Tranquillity and In Flames they had a baby, they'd give the Halo Effect. But I think that there's with some metalcore elements as well, and there are some songs I've listened to. There were metalcore elements in there, and
I mean, metalcore was made from melodic death metal, right? It
Yeah.
was just melodic death metal kids that also like listen to hardcore. That was basically it.
it's all connected. You see, there's like the daddy, and then there's like the branches going there, and
We're not going into biology, Ace. Stop saying
what?
daddy and mommy. You just don't make it weird, Ace. Don't make it weird.
I have to explain that. And you see, there is the death
When a
metal.
mommy loves a daddy, yeah. Don't.
But no, I really enjoyed it. The Hell Effect. The song. There are different songs, and what made me really enjoy listening to an album. It's you do not expect anything of. You can expect anything in what you're listening to. that's what made me love the halo effect for this album. It's a really great album, and Michael Stan for me is like he is literally an idol for me. This guy literally an idol. I truly admire him, and I like whatever he does. For you, if you're like admiring Rob Flynn, I admire Michael Stan. Dude, this guy's freaking amazing for me.
Well, my third album is another one of my influences that I actually got to talk to this year as well, which also blew my mind. But Randy Blythe from Lamb of God, my third album, is the fact that they put out an album that surprised me the way it sounds this far into their game. Another fucking over 50-year-old that sounds better than most 20 fucking year olds that I know doing screaming vocals. Mark Morton brings like blues and jazz, licks and elements into a fucking death metal riff that still blows my mind. And Art Cruz is just like riding that fucking wave, man. He has really big shoes to fill in Chris Adler, but I think he owned it, and he's doing things that even Chris, who's the innovator of all things technical drumming, he's surpassed it to some degree. So I think that album was fucking amazing, and it blows my mind.
But I think a Lamb of God, they reach into a point or a certain point that I don't think they're going down anywhere. They're just reached there, and they're gonna stay on top.
I mean, they have their own fucking cruise at this point. Like they did the Heavy Headbangers boat or whatever it's. When you are on a Kiss cruise level, when you have your own boat, you're set.
Unmuted boat. We need unmuted boat.
Yeah, it's gonna drown. It's gonna be a dinghy. It's gonna have a hole in it.
It's gonna be a dinghy.
Wow. For me, I think from my favorite, I also had a long ass list, but I've been rounding them in 3. The Halo Effect, and the second album, and I was surprised that Mozej did not mention, or I don't think you wrote it on your list as well. Cancer Bats.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh shit!
Psychic Jailbreak. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been listening to a lot of hardcore punk elements. The album, it's like, I've been. I think I've mentioned that before. I've been like a punk kid. I've been listening to a lot of punk music since when I was exposed to rock and metal, rock music overall. Cancer Bats brought this old school or old sound for the punk or hardcore. I don't know, man. I just enjoyed it. It's really amazing, and I think it's also one of my favorite albums for this year. Also, I'm gonna say this, and I don't care. I hate Slayer, because Creator is better than them. I keep comparing Slayer to Creator.
Good night, you guys.
Yeah, they dropped.
Remove my logo from this.
Wow, a lot of people.
Yeah.
No, for Creator they dropped an amazing album.
Your followers on Instagram is dropping.
No. I've been blocked. I've been reported, and Steel Shout, cancel Steel Shout. # cancel Steel Shout.
Yeah, exactly.
No, for Creator they brought an album that's been amazing. Hate Uber Alles. I don't know. Adnan can speak German. He can translate that to us.
Yeah, guten.
Guten.
Oh, or Maan. Maan, by the way, he can speak German because he's been influenced by a lot of by Rammstein.
Aren't you
Yeah, I lived there for 3 years. I do speak.
What is the translation of Hate Uber Alles?
Is it hate? Because Uber Alles is above.
Yes,
Above all.
Yes, above all. Okay, good. See, we can speak German. Uber Alles. Uber
I
Alles.
told you, guten.
Uber Alles. No, they dropped really an amazing album. I've been for thrash for this year. For me, it was definitely Creator. They dropped really stanky and amazing album filled with the melody. what make them stand out for a thrash band, the melodies they put in their music is quite amazing. Like Lamb of God and a lot of bands that they stood there and they're never going down. They're never going down. And
did I ever tell you a story of how my friend tried to convince me that Creator was a French band? Because
Violent Revolution.
Violent Revolution. And it's like, he's like, look, you can hear it in their accent. They're French.
They're French.
I thought that was. This was like 15 years ago, and that comment is still stuck in my head because of how stupid it was. Shout out to Ala Raghib, who just released an album, by the way. That was him.
Wow. Violent Revolution.
Revolution.
Dude. God. So, and I also had a lot of lists for all the things that I've been listening to, and I'm gonna round them all up on a post as well, along with Mozej's list and Maan. And if you guys have other music you've been listening to, it will be all added up along with the episode. For the best discovery, there's a band, they've been around for a long time, and this is the year that I've been listening to. It's the first time I've been listening to. I don't know how to pronounce them, but I think Adnan can tell me about this. Allegion.
Allegion.
Oh, so it was just Allegion.
Allegion.
Yeah.
Allegion.
I fucked that up on stream as well, and they schooled me.
Allegion. No, it's Allegion. They're French. Allegion.
Yeah, there you go. Allegion Revolution.
I'll take some Allegion on my sandwich, please.
So Allegion, I know they've been around for a long time, but they released an album called Damnum this year, and dude, I was really blown away by this band. I think what made this album also stands out, because they had their song, they had really great, they are technical melodic depth going on from the very first song to the last one, but there's a song in the middle that really made them stand out, called Home. It's really had this Opeth vibes in it, and unfortunately, this is one of the greatest things that made me upset this year. After the release of the album, with a couple of months, the vocalist just left the band. They got this band, and I was like, oh shit. And I just started to like them this year. Good job.
Yeah, man, I remember when you sent me the song, and I thought, like, immediately when I listened to it, I thought it has like all the things Ace likes. Checks all the boxes. Melodic, technical, high-pitched singing.
Dude, if the song is not nasty enough to melt your face, then it's not a song to listen to. That's how it has to do. For guys, and I don't know. Should we jump into the local scene now, or do you have something else to say before we jump into our favorite bands from the Middle East?
I just have a quick follow-up for what Adnan was saying about Art Cruz and how he kind of did not change the sound of Lamb of God, but kind of went toe-to-toe with Adler, and I love that. I feel like, for example, Jay Weinberg did the same with Slipknot.
100%.
Yeah. Just sometimes having that young blood just kind of elevates the band.
You know what? I was, even when Jay first joined Slipknot, I was one of those people that's like, it doesn't sound the same. Joey wouldn't have played it that way. I was such a hardcore Joey fan that I couldn't look past, I couldn't hear past who was playing. I envisioned not Joey playing, but even look at Jay specifically, looking back at his history, he was a fucking Slipknot fan since he was 11.
Yeah.
His dad took him to a Slipknot show. He was in the mask and this.
Yeah.
If anyone was to play Joey's parts, it's fucking Jay Weinberg.
Yeah. And I just love the trust they gave him. I was reading something where he was talking about the recording and writing process of the Great Chapter, and it's him, Jim, and Clown went into a room, and then they were writing all these things, and it's just can you imagine the trust that Clown puts in this new guy to be able to carry this weight? And it's just amazing. I think he excelled. I don't want to see I don't want to say he's better than Joey, but like from a technical point of view, some of the stuff he does just blows my mind.
Rest in peace, Joey Jordison.
Rest
I started as a drummer, and that's why like I'm very passionate about drums and the drummers that made me pick up sticks and stuff. But the way I read, or I think he was on a podcast or something, but he said the way they auditioned him was his manager called him and said, "There's an audition for a band." Not knowing who it was, you have to fly to this, studio in LA, and they'll audition you. And he set up his drum kit, not knowing who the band was, got everything ready, not knowing who the band was, and then fucking Slipknot came in and they said, "We're gonna jam a couple of songs. What do you know?" And I think they played like 21 songs that night, and they're like, "Okay, you got the gig." And he just already knew the songs because that's what he grew up listening to.
Speaking of people who passed away, there's a legend who passed away this year, and we truly miss Trevor from the Black Dahlia murder.
Yeah, dude.
Dude,
I found out about that on stream, man, and I had him scheduled for the podcast. It devastated me. It fucking devastated me that one.
Yeah.
Someone in stream and said, "Rest in peace, Trevor," and I was like, "What, Trevor?" They're like staring at it. I was like, "No, you spoke to the motherfucker. What are you talking about?" Yeah, that guy was special.
Dude, the Black Dahlia was, I think they were one of my gateways to the extreme music as well, along with children. And
Absolutely.
Dude, seeing the band without him, you're talking about the Slipknot without Joey. I don't see the Black Dahlia now without Trevor. I don't know.
They did it right. They kept it in house. They're doing it right. They're not outsourcing it. It's the guy that fucking grew up with him that's doing his parts, that wrote those parts with him. So they're doing it the right way.
He even recorded a couple of songs with a couple of bands even before he passed away. I think Chelsea Grin, they released a song featuring him as well. Dude, that's freaking insane. Yeah, Chelsea Grin, they released a song with Trevor.
No, Revocation.
Revocation.
Yeah, Revocation.
The last song on that record is featuring Trevor and what was it? Cannibal Corpse.
Corpse Grinder.
Corpse Grinder.
Yeah, Corpse Grinder. Yes.
Yeah. Dude, rest in peace, Trevor. So.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, guys. Before
Nocturnal is top 5 album of all time.
Guys, before we're going into, we all love the people in the Middle East. The scene is really grew up into something massive. I've been looking.
I fucking hate them all.
Wow.
Speak for yourself.
Cancel unmuted. Guys, the scene has been growing like massively crazy amount. I've been looking. I was looking back into everything that's been released this year, and I was blown away by how amazing and how this scene grew into. I wanted to ask each and every one of you before we talk about the scene here. Maan, I really want to know from you, how was it for you with Ana Nahn this year?
I'd say it was a difficult years. There was only 2 songs that were released where the whole album should have been released. But I think we decided to push that until the beginning of next year. But the 2 songs that were released were kind of like so different. First one was Zanjabil Asal Lemon, which I think it's the song that got the most hate. And
What?
Yeah.
It's my favorite song.
I don't know, man. Like there was a lot of hate comments on YouTube or like.
That doesn't make sense to me because it's literally. I was gonna mention it in mine.
No. Wait. Let me do a commentary on this. You get the hate comments, you're on the right path.
I suppose, but like even Malik would get like DMs of hate for that song. I don't know why.
Wow.
Yeah. Whereas the song after it, Alhaq Nafsak was.
With
Can I
Ghada.
say it? Yeah, with Ghada was like, I'm not calling it safe, but it was a song that's really accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
How was
So
it
just
for,
releasing, yeah, sorry.
how was it for you when you created these two songs and the collaboration with Ghada?
It was amazing, man. Like, I remember me and Malik and Ghada got together and we started like just jamming, and so the song started with like piano and drums and singing, and then like we later Saif added the basses, and so it kind of grew into something that I loved. We tried to do like the whole singing thing where Malik and Ghada sing at the same time, but each of them sing like something different, and then they meet in one word. And this was inspired by John Frusciante of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. In his solo stuff, he has a song where he does that. Ironically, John Frusciante has Josh Klinghoffer, which was the previous Red Hot Chili Pepper guitarist, on a song of his, and they both do this trick where John sings something and Josh sings something, and it kind of like overlaps, but then kind of gets displaced. And I really love that, and I wanted to try to do it. So that's how we tried to write it. And yeah, I think it's a favorite for a lot of people, especially the lyrics. They love the lyrics. They enjoyed, I guess, the artwork, and yeah, I'm happy with it.
Let me say my own commentary on both
Please do.
songs. For زنجبيل عسل الليمون, for me, I truly admired it, and it's on my top songs I've listened to by Ana Nahn, by the way, for me. It's really unique. It's really
Thank you.
I wouldn't say there are different vibes in it. It's like I'm listening to progressive rock by you. There are different sections in the songs that makes me, yes, I wanted to listen to more. I want to know what's the next part gonna be like. What's the next part gonna be like? And I've noticed there are a lot of Tool influences in this song.
Sure.
And you know, if you have Tool influences, you just grab me there. I'm down. If you have Tool influences, I'm truly down for that. And I was there on the release party for the song at Maan. Dude, the reaction of people, you know, I'm gonna say that honestly, a lot of people on that day, they had an amazing reaction. They were all clapping. They were all amazed by the song. And I remember, I don't know if Mozej was there or not, when Ana Nahn they played the acoustic night.
Oh, okay, you're talking about a different night. Okay, no, I wasn't there for that one.
They played زنجبيل وعسل الليمون on acoustic. There was an acoustic version for. By the way, there is something else for Ana Nahn that I'm gonna give them credits for this. They did a great job on acoustic for each and every song except Al-Rakhis. This song, you do not make an acoustic version of that. You know, it's like you are making an acoustic version for I don't know, People Equal Shit by Slipknot. Can you imagine People Equal Shit on acoustic?
People equal shit.
No.
I actually kind of want to hear that now.
No. By the way, man, this is just a personal opinion, because Rakhis, for me, it's like the extreme song by Ana Nahn, and it truly made me want to punch someone in the face. But man, good job on both the songs you've released, and the collaboration with Ghada was something else, was freaking amazing. It's like experimenting with Ana Nahn, and I'm really excited when for the more music by Ana Nahn. Keep it up, man. Keep it up.
I'm excited too, man. One of my favorite things in the world is to like be able, when I like hear these songs back, and be able to like pinpoint the influences. So just like I was saying, there's like a part from John Frusciante, but there's a part from Tool, and there's a part from Mars Volta, and I just love that. Like a small things on the drum that's inspired by Jay Weinberg, and you know, all these things, that's my favorite part ever about writing for Ana.
I feel exactly the same way. It's just like I'm a music fan paying tribute to all the music that fucking I grew up listening to. That's basically it.
جزء من حياتك دامك مهتم أوجاع الناس أداويها بإحساس ساري الملحم في الجبين حارقني بس هي العسل غاية اكسبني دايما صفك
And Mozej, for me, you're one of the best discoveries this year as well, man. I was like, Mozej, dude, what? How come is that even a name? I was checking, dude, he plays weird ass music. I like that. Why?
Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
I really never
Genre change to weird ass music tomorrow morning on Spotify.
I'm gonna write that under my in my profile.
weird.
Sorry, this reminded me of a bit, but there was this Jordanian band when I was growing up in Jordan 15 years ago, where they had their genre, bone crushing death metal. Bone crushing was part of the genre. But in their bio they say زي ما بتقول طنجرة لقت غطاها. And I thought, I wish that band continued because I was like, I want that band to succeed. I want that to be a cool like bio. It just reminded me of that. Yeah, we're gonna change it to weird ass fucking music.
Weird ass music.
So Mozej, how was it for you when you for initiating the Mozej project for you and going through releasing this music as well?
I think I'm pretty happy with what I've done this year. Like, and I'm initially, my feeling was, all right, I've been kind of practicing production, mixing and recording and writing music and things like that for the better part of like during, the 2021. And, I was like, all right, 2022, I'll start releasing music, and I think pretty good effort so far. I've released, I'm not talking about the quality of the songs or whatever. This is up to people to decide if they like it. But I'm talking about like the fact that I was able to release 5 songs, and I have, maybe this is kind of a small announcement here, a 6th song that's going to come out in December. So,
Nice.
So like coming out with a portfolio of like 6 songs, I think I'm pretty happy with that effort and looking forward to doing more. For me, I really enjoy it thoroughly. Like, it's been a kind of learning process, something that I talked about with Adnan as well on his show, on his podcast. It's all about, like, at first it was always like the fear of releasing music and hearing people's feedback and like, oh, is it good enough? Is it not good enough? And then it just gets to the point where it's like, just put it out, and it's a learning process at the end of the day. Who am I? I'm like nobody, and I'm growing that and trying to grow and everything like that. So just put it out, and with every song I'm improving and enhancing my skills in mixing and recording and writing and finding that sound and sculpting it and kind of exploring the different sounds that I'm trying to accomplish. And yeah, hopefully people will enjoy what I've released so far and this song that's coming up, and hopefully people will enjoy the upcoming releases that I will be working on, hopefully through next year, and hopefully at some point work up to a live performance. I don't know, that's like kind of my ultimate goal at some point.
Hell yeah.
Get a few people and that will help me in performing live. So yeah,
I'll be frontline on that. Definitely I'll be frontline on that. Unmuted, you initiating your project. I've been truly amazed by that. How is it for you?
Thank you.
Making your own music now.
It's been good, man. It's been good. You know, Bailuni and I actually talked last year about the idea of him recording some songs that I had in mind, and it's just been a lot of fun. I'd love to say that it's a wholly just Adnan writing thing, but Bailuni's production and his elements and everything changed those songs to a degree that I consider him, you know, a big part of the project. It's not. It is a solo project, but he's so hands-on that he's very involved in the creative aspect of it. But it's been fucking fun. It's been a learning curve, and when we were talking about the Spotify rap thing, I just looked at it and it said something like 15,000 listeners streamed your music 31,000 times. Like, holy fucking shit! What?
Wow.
that I never see those numbers anywhere, and for something that, you know, spawned because I started a podcast in 2020 is pretty crazy. And to think that, you know, a lot of people ask about the Middle Eastern metal scene, and they always only focus on the lack of venues, or like there's not enough thrash bands, but it's like the community is there. Those numbers would not be there if we didn't have that community. None of this would have existed because of that, you know, without that community. And we have the community. I think we just need to link the community to the musicians, and kind of share. High tide raises all ships, motherfuckers. Share that love. And yeah, I've been very stoked to release those songs. I've learned a lot on how to release music in this fucking day and age, on all the Spotify algorithm, what time to post about it on Instagram, all the technical things that come with being a musician these days. Like, I saw Mozej's post on Instagram about your upcoming artwork as well. Like, you got to be a fucking you're the artist, you're the record label, you're the marketing manager, you're all that stuff.
Audio engineer.
Yeah, in Svengali, a lot of that stuff is off my shoulders because I have JM that takes a lot of that load on. I have Josh and Ali that also do a lot of the online stuff. But doing it by myself, after 2 years of doing the podcast and doing the live streams, I kind of started figuring out how all this stuff works. And a big part of Unmuted is passing that information on. So whenever I get questions about it, whenever, you know, any band wants any advice, I always have my DMs open. I always have my Discord open. So a lot of people have been hitting me up and they're like, how did that work for you? And I kind of, you know, let them in on a bunch of the things that I've learned over this last year. But yeah, 4 songs in, the 5th one comes out in January. So I guess it doesn't count, but I'm also very lucky because I have a lot of fucking guests on my songs, and they're big guests, so I got lucky. Like Mark Hunter from Chimera was a big find. So yeah, that's probably where half those numbers come from. But it's really interesting to see how it all works when you do it solo.
Yeah.
I just want to say something very quickly because I don't want to feel like I'm left anybody out. But one of the things as well that I was pretty happy about this year is some of the collaborations that I did. just because I remembered now when Adnan was talking. So, one of the songs I collaborated with Azam from Kaiser, who they're right now working in the process of releasing a song. They're recording it with Makan, and they're working on releasing that. So, shout out to him. Thank you for being part of that. And speaking of the artwork as well, I do. Most of the albums that I've released, or most of the songs that I've released, I do the artwork. But recently as well, I've been collaborating with so that artwork that I posted, Adnan, that you mentioned, this was done by a local artist here in Saudi. He's amazing. His name is Ziad. And
I know. I
actually-
followed him because of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, really?
I saw the shadow.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, he's like, like it's one of those amazing things where you stumble upon someone on Instagram and you're like, dude, this guy's amazing. And he had like, he has like less than 1,000 followers, I think, or something like that. So I'm like, he's just like like an unfound gem, like something like that. So I just reached out to him. I'm like, listen, I want to work with you on working on this artwork.
That's
And
how I feel.
I really hope
That's
that
how
like other artists like you discover him and they reach out to him as well and like work with him on. So that's amazing. Yeah.
That excitement is exactly how I feel about the Middle Eastern metal scene. Because Ana Nahan Mozej, even Still Shot, I met this guy because I sent him a message on Instagram going, oh, this guy. Yeah. I have
Yes,
to-
Samir. Him, yeah.
Yeah. I met this guy because someone mentioned somewhere that there's no Middle Eastern metal podcasts that are in Arabic, and I'm not that well versed at speaking in Arabic. My Arabic sucks ass. So I started just digging around and I asked people that were on my Instagram, who do you know? And then we stumbled on Still Shout and I was like, yo, how long have you, I think you were in like episode 10 or something?
No, it was after Wasted Land, before Ana Nahn's episode. Yeah, around 14 episodes. 14.
Something like that. And I sent him a message. I was like, yo, my name's Adnan. I have a thing called Unmuted. We have this community on Discord. I have XYZ. I sing in Svengali. Whatever you need, let me know. Let's promote the shit out of Still Shout. This needs to be a bigger thing. And I feel like I've done that to a bunch of like that. I was like, how does this exist and nobody know? Let me scream from the biggest mountaintop about this thing that I found. I felt the same way about both your music and just a bunch of bands that I found here, a bunch of people that are promoting and making magazines, a bunch of people that are doing artwork. I want to share the stuff that we have here.
That's true. That's true. When you find someone from the Middle East who are doing this music, doing this art, dude, I was like, I approached some of them as well. Hey guys, let me listen to your music. What you have in mind? What I just want to explore. What's this scene had?
Yeah.
And I think that this is a word Julian said on Battle of the Bands. What makes the Middle East unique is that there is like there's a band from Norway. Yeah, there's a black metal band. They are from Swedish. Yeah, death metal band. They are from German. They are industrial or thrash. But when it comes from the Middle East, you can expect anything at all. There is the gen, there is the progressive, there's the death metal, there's the thrash, there's the metalcore. There is wide spectrum.
Yeah.
As you say, widening the spectrum of the with.
You got to get real close to the camera. Yeah.
No, you can do it better because you're experienced with that.
And it's good people, man. I really like. I wanna. A special moment this year was when I met Abzi and Iman. We're both in the scene, and I just they're amazing people, man. And I look forward to meeting Adnan as well. I've met Mozej in the past, and I've met Ace just last time.
Yeah,
Right,
when you came to Jeddah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
So I just love also meeting people in person from the scene. It's just like there's always a connection, and it's just amazing.
It has been crazy, and I can't wait to meet everyone. I met a ton of people at last weekend's Dubai Metal Fest, and it was just blowing my mind. Like half the Bahraini scene, half the Kuwaiti scene came out, and
Saudi.
a lot. Yeah, I mean, just meeting the Wasted Land guys. I haven't seen those guys since I filmed them in 2007 at one of their shows here in Dubai, and I made a little pro edit. Yeah, it was on fucking DVR tapes.
Wow.
It was so old, Yeah, just meeting them, seeing them play the show, getting like them walking off while Svengali walked on, and I was like, we're fucking doing it, bro. Like this is the kind of
Amazing.
stage we should be on. It was just such a good vibe.
It was freaking amazing. And speaking of, I think one of the highlights for this year, Dubai Metal Festival. Dude,
It was
fucking
good.
Lacona, Coil, and Moonspell were there, and the bands they opened for these guys from local bands. They are all locals. Dude, that's freaking amazing. Can you imagine that a day would come when you see these bands coming from Europe, coming from the US, and hey, you don't bring bands from your side, we have our own scene. Dude, that was freaking amazing for me, for seeing it, and I truly feel bad for missing that out.
Honestly, not to shit on Moonspell or Lacuna Coil. I was lucky enough to meet both those groups of people, and I had Christina on the podcast. We've hung out with them extensively when they were here.
Here comes the juicy bit.
The what?
The juicy bit.
Yeah, the juicy bit is I think we put too much weight on the fact that these bands are international. I mean, they're a good band that has been around for 30 years. But I don't give a fuck if you're from Italy or from fucking Zerga in Jordan. Like, if you're a good band, you're a good band. And I feel like the problem with the Middle Eastern metal scene is that we put emphasis on the fact that they're from abroad. We've always imported everything that we have in the Middle East, culturally and even like physically speaking, has been imported. And I feel like, just like you were saying, like, oh, this international band came, fuck them. It's just sorry, Kristen. It's just they've just been a band for a long time that has had opportunities open for them. But why isn't Wasted Land? You know, I was telling you, I met Wasted Land fucking 15 years ago. They're a huge band, regardless of where they're from. I think we should, as a community, stop
Importing bands from
it's this like they are greater for not being from here. There's this mentality block that kind of doesn't allow us to see greatness down the road. Yeah, shabab, they're from here. It's not, you can't look up to them because they're from down the road. But if the same road, but it was in Europe, you're like, oh, these guys are amazing. You know what I mean? But everybody shits, everybody cries. They're just dudes that have been doing it for the same amount of time that we have. I think we should start applying that legend and that greatness aspect to people down the road from us.
Amen.
yeah.
I think, as well as just build on that point as well, is that we need more. I know, it sounds a little bit, and maybe a bit hypocritical of me to say this, because the music I put out is a bit influenced more. You can find a lot of influences from Western bands, or whatever bands that already exist, right? But which is fine, like we should have that, and it should be like unique and interesting so that people enjoy it. But at the same time, I think we need a lot more bands that kind of bring a unique twist. And I'm not saying this just because he's here with us, but it's like bands like Ana Nahn that have like a kind of a unique, interesting twist with Arabic, and they sing in Arabic, and it feels like it's brewed here for Saudi or whatever in the Middle East or something like that. A lot of the bands that are also coming up now in Riyadh, and like that I'm seeing, and like because of this XP show that's happening right now, and because all these different like music venues that are popping up in Saudi, those sound and look really interesting, and I'm really looking forward to what we end up developing here as an industry, in the Middle East and in Saudi. Not just metal, just in general, like music that we own. That's part of that we develop.
Yeah.
100% agree. And I think Ana Nahn is a great fucking example, because there's going to be a lot of growing pains. We are drawing a lot of influence from. We're sat here speaking English. Like we are, we are catering to the time that we're living in right now. A lot of people will listen to this and happily have it be in English instead of Arabic, but there is going to be a point in time where the new wave of Middle Eastern metal is not just a playlist on Spotify that we labeled to kind of tell people what it was, but it will be a sound. Like we were saying, Norwegian black metal and Swedish melodic death. It's going to be, oh, there's a Middle Eastern metal sound. I think it's going to take us a little longer because it is a melting pot. Everybody's from fucking everywhere here.
I think
there's not one person that's like, I am wholly this and I only do that one thing. But I think that's the beauty of the journey, right?
Dude, we have our own genre, Arab metal. There's Arab metal. What is Arab metal? Yes, everything. That's literally Arab metal. We have our own genre, man. Truly, we have our own genre.
Yeah, but it's not enough.
Mhm.
It's not enough because it's literally metal bands from countries that are labeled as Arab. That's
Exactly.
that's fine, but like that's geographic. We're not talking about a sound. It's a
Yeah,
location.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like the way you put it, Ace. You said, what is Arab metal? The answer is yes.
Yes, exactly. Yes. That's the thing.
I think my priority for me, if the people listening to this want to take anything away, it's not necessarily let's look for the sound that's supposed to be what Arab bands are supposed to sound like. It's just if you like thrash, look for a band in the region. If you like melodic death metal, look for a band in the region. Seek them out. Like try to figure out what you have here locally. And it's cool to like local bands. You can wear your Lamb of God t-shirt to a show, but if you wear a fucking Mozej t-shirt, it's a lot cooler. Like that's if you support your local shit, it's 100%. Like that's the thing that Svengali found very early on is it was for a period of time in 2015 it was cool to like Svengali. Like in the local scene here, a lot of people started buying our t-shirts and rocking up to the shows knowing the lyrics because it was a fad. There was a cool thing about liking Svengali. And then it wasn't. And then the Metallica and Lamb of God shirts came back. But it's like, but then did you guys check out all the other bands? Like why did you go straight back to the fucking big bands? Go check out all the local bands. Check out fucking regional bands from all over the Middle East. It still makes sense.
Yeah, dude, even some of these bands from the local scene, they made music I've listened to a lot from local scene more than international bands. I've been listening to a lot of Ananahan, I've been listening to a lot of Svengali, Riot, there's a band called also Sajil, Sound of Ruby, they dropped an album this year and it was freaking amazing. Dude, we have a scene here that my dream there is something I've always dreamed of, that one day we will have a festival, 2 days or 3 days festival. All the local, it's gonna be as big as Vakan in the Middle East. I truly wanna see that day comes true, where we have our own festival and bands coming from outside to open for us. Dude, I know it's really crazy dream, but man, that I would you'd have no idea how would that make me happy. Dude, I want to see Metallica open for Svengali.
Okay, calm down.
I was with you until you said that.
Yeah, I'm down with the imagery of a Middle Eastern festival where like a German opening band would fly in to play here. 100.
Yeah.
Don't put Svengali and Metallica in the same sentence though.
Wow. Let me just dream for that. Let me you know. There's a saying my mom always says, "احلم الأحلام ببلاش." You can dream. The dreams, it's for free. It's for free.
That's true. What you just said is gonna be like when the festival happens and they release a documentary about how the festival took place. they're probably gonna take this snippet from this podcast and put it in the intro, you know, and then
Yeah.
they're gonna cut to the scene of the fans like at the stage.
I had a dream.
Yeah, but like even the dreams should be like my dream is to open for a band whose guitarist was like the sound tech for Metallica like 12 years ago.
See.
Yeah.
He
That's
gets
more.
it. Man, that's why I love you. Fist bump, man, fist bump, huh? Like this. It's not working, huh?
Oh, but that's a small dream.
Okay. I want to hear from you guys. From what were the highlights for the music scene from the Middle East for you guys? I want to start with the Unmuted. Which
Dude, there's a lot. There's a lot this year. Yeah, I feel like Mozej's narrowing down the albums when it comes to the Middle East, because I was heavily and actively looking for everybody that released things, so I got to listen to hundreds of songs that was released this year, and
I think
the highlights are just as many as the ones that I've heard, because I was just so stoked on everything being released. You know, Saudi Arabia is fucking exploding with releases. Shout out to Heavy Arabia and Wall of Sound for like facilitating everything for a bunch of different bands. Bahrain, like the smallest fucking country, has the loudest motherfuckers in there. It's insane. It's insane. Even like Lunacyst are you know, performing live again, and there's a bunch of bands that were dormant that are active again now in Bahrain because of the way things are going. I think Abs is the only one holding down the fort in
dude, I think we all agree Abzi is one of the best, I wouldn't say even the musician, one of the best guys I've ever met or
Yeah.
ever
Top lads, yeah.
yeah. Dude, everything he made with Wazn,
Yeah.
He's super talented, yeah.
dude, top tier. Every song
Yeah.
they drop, it's really freaking amazing.
I keep telling him to stop it, but he hasn't been listening.
Don't listen to him.
Yeah, and Sarai, like even Sarai's the things he's been doing, they got like 10,000 listens in the first 24 hours on that first single. Just in terms of marketing, everything is very, very savvy when it comes to that stuff. And I got the chance to work with him on the Unmuted single that we released together, and I sent him a bunch of words and an instrumental and went, do your thing. And he sent back full vocal melodies with harmonies and everything. We had like 3 WhatsApps interaction for him to be on that song, and it was fucking perfect.
Wow, truly professional.
Yeah, it was brilliant. So yeah, massive shout out to him. But there's so many things going on, like the Jordanian metal scene. Asadic dropped an album earlier this year. The
Blind
Dubai
Vision.
metal scene.
Blind Vision.
Blind Vision just released a song, just released an album that was recorded 16 years ago. I was actually in that studio when they recorded that album. They were a band that was on the up and up way back in the day, and then everybody went to college, everybody started getting jobs, and they started to stop playing shows, and they did all that stuff. But then earlier this year, they're like, we're gonna put this album out, and they got it mixed by the guy that does like, you know, Creator and Arch Enemy or something, and they put it out, and it's got that like nostalgia because it was recorded 16 years ago, but it sounds modern because it was mixed this year, so it's got a really cool vibe to it.
Winds of the south blowing away, swinging the Voyager into desert waves, glooming the skies, darken in vain. The Baptist of shadows releases his ray. Clashes of gods, the howling of thunder, lightning strikes back, waters surrender, awakening the rage of a bewildering ocean, drowning the supper of a reckoning devotion.
Yeah, there's a fuck ton, man. There's a fuck ton. These guys have been releasing things. Yeah, it's brilliant. Every day we get someone on Discord that drops a new song and they show us your stuff. We have a channel on Discord. Just
Sharing
show
music.
share your music, show us your stuff. And a bunch of people have been posting on there like, this is my first single, this is my first song, I'm testing out guitar tones. Mozej's been replying to a couple of people in terms of like how to record yourself better, and I'm like, what more can you need for a fucking scene right now? Like there's this guy in Saudi Arabia trying to figure out how to record his guitar tone digitally and what amp sims he should use, and the guy that's released a bunch of songs successfully this year is replying to him, telling him how to do it properly. Like facilitating that would have taken years or like very, very lucky interactions and networking to happen, but because of something like Discord, you could just tag at musicians literally, and people started responding. Yeah, it's been a great year for the Middle East, man. It's been a great year.
Dude, it's really freaking amazing, and even among the genres, you can find anything you want. Everything from rock until the extremist of the all extreme metal from all around the area.
Well, you and I just found a random band that posted on our Discord from Egypt.
Soundmudge, yes.
I had no idea they existed. Some guy posted, we just released an album. I tagged Ace. I was like, you're gonna fucking love this. There's a whole glam metal scene in Egypt that we didn't know existed.
Okay, now I remember that I listened to them. Yeah. They sound like that song was very like Guns N' Roses. I gave it that vibe.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I was like, where'd you guys come from? And they're like, we've been around for 4 years. Just out of nowhere it came out.
Yeah, and we just found out about them. Freaking amazing.
Hey there, Mr. Fancy Pants, it's high beside your face. Seven eagle for breakfast, or would you like to come to play? Everything comes at a price, but for you, money just grow on trees. Funny how you take pride in all your dirty deeds and dirty knees.
Mozej, what were the highlights for you for this
me?
year? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna talk about should I talk about the highlights and then like my all-time favorite?
Dude, احكي اللي بدك اياه. Do whatever,
Okay.
say whatever you want. That's fine.
Okay. So definitely for me, and I'm not just saying this because they're here with us, but يعني like I mentioned there, the Zanjabil Asal Laymoon, like that song, like really, like it's such a great, well-written, and like there's like some technical aspects in it as well. Like I really appreciate the like weird time signatures in there and stuff like that. It just really speaks to me. So I really, and I like the lyrical content and the way it's performed as well. It's such a good song, and really hoping for like looking forward to listening to that album. And again, not just saying that because he's here with us, but one of my favorite as well songs that came out from the Unmuted project was definitely the one you collaborate with Abzi. It's really good. That's a really good song, really well written and really well put together. Wasn't as well like we talked about the song that they dropped like by surprise, and that was like my favorite song for them. Like it's, I'm not really like maybe like 5 years, or is it like what is it, like 10 years ago or something, like now, like it's I think now 10 years ago, when Degent and like progressive metal, like that genre of modern metal was coming up with Periphery and bands like that. Maybe back then I really appreciated that more, but like this day and age I don't. And really it takes a lot, like for a band like Spirit Box to get like for me to get into them, and like bands like Era for me to get into them. But that last song they released is so, like the hook, the catchiness, and the way like it's the song is laid out is really fun, and it's really well written. I really like that song. Obviously, like since we're also like just, it's so funny, like 3 of the things that I'm mentioning involves Abzi, but the other one is Sarai. Like that song, I understand. It's way too catchy. Like it's way too good and way too catchy. Like
I told you, I keep telling him to stop. He doesn't want to.
Like that song is so well written. Like kudos to him and the rest of the band. Like for the song for this song. Like it's really, really good. And then like some honorable mentions is Gimmicks. It's a really interesting like grunge sounding band from here, from Saudi. Deathless Anguish as well, the solo project for Kamal. Like Kamal as well is very important in the Saudi scene, by the way. Like he's like the one that's been producing, I believe, I don't know if I'm mistaken, but he's the one that's been producing Sound of Ruby's album.
Yes, he was working for Sound of Ruby. Yeah.
I think Entropia as well, and he really supports, like, and he plays an important role like in the Saudi scene. So kudos to him as well, and like the songs that he's been releasing as Deathless Anguish. Sound of Ruby, we just talked about them. Great album that they released as well, very interesting.
Skeleton Crowd.
Yes, Skeleton Crowd. Although I'm not really into like that electro kind of style, I don't know, industrial maybe. But like some of the songs in there were really good. I really appreciated them. But for me, definitely, like with all due respect to everyone,
I know the band. I know the band.
The band that destroyed everyone, destroyed us all, is Wraith. Honestly, dude, Wraith. Like, if you haven't heard that album that they dropped, like, go on Bandcamp and listen to that album.
By the way, it's gonna be on all streaming platforms. By the release of this, it's gonna be.
So if you want to listen to it now, go on Bandcamp, listen to it, and really, like, everybody needs to listen to that album. If you're not into like a bit more aggressive music, I don't think maybe you'll appreciate it. But it's really technical without being too pretentious, and the songs are so well written and so interesting to listen to and so good. Definitely like my highlight from the local scene. Like it's such a good album. Like, and they're such a great band, and I really look forward to seeing them perform live.
And great artwork as well.
Oh yeah, the artwork is amazing, by the way. Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I haven't heard the album. So you're talking about how much Middle Eastern metal or alternative music that I consume. I'm still to this day, right now, adding things to my fucking playlist, and I love that.
Exactly, that's the thing. That's the beauty of it. I remember, by the way, Adnan, Blind Vision, when you shared them, you just wrote Jordan Amman. I was like, what? They are from Jordan? How come I never heard of them? I by the way, I knew a couple of bands from Amman there as well. There was, I think, Exile, Chalice of Doom, and I can't recall. There was another thrash band.
There's Tyrant Throne, Bilocate,
Tyrant Throne. How come I never heard? Yeah, and I was blown away. How come I never heard of these bands? See, that's the beauty of it. You can expect a lot of things coming out from the Middle East, dude.
No, but that Bright album is something else, dude. It's really like the vocal performances in it, the guitar performances, the mixing, the producing, everything in it is like I said, it is technical, but without being too pretentious. It's like, if you're into that kind of music, it's gonna be very easy to get into. Very quickly you can get into it and you enjoy it. Yeah, just very good. It's just a very good, well-written album.
The best description for Wraith, progressive blackened death metal band.
Blackened? I don't know.
Yeah, no. There are black.
You added so many things to that ingredients. It was like saying potato, onion skins with noodles.
There are black metal influences. I think they're one of their songs, Facade, They had a lot of black metal influences. I was like, what kind of music is that?
Yeah.
You see, I think that's the closest description for that.
Devastating deprivation. Morning windows wide. When your friends rush to lose, who dare to come close? No one can resist. Killers interested. Black captains of marginalized. We went to try and bound and we went to fall from grace. Nothing is left. He can't stand anymore. Nothing is right. Let me ask every day. Might is right.
So I would like also from Maan. I want to hear from Maan as well about Wazn and Abzi as well, because I think he had a lot of interactions and he truly admires Abzi as well for his work.
I do, man. Such a great guy. And so if
Abs,
I were,
if you hear this, fuck you. We need to humble you a little bit.
he's online now. I see him online. So to factor Abzi into also the highlights of, I guess he's involved in two of the highlights I'm going to mention for this year. First one being all the collaborations that are happening like across the scene, and I really love those. Like Abzi with Maan, Mozej with Azzam, and everyone is collaborating from the scene, and I feel that this really kind of bridges the scene and kind of puts eyes on everyone around the scene, and I really love that. I really love the collaborations, and I look forward also to working with both of you guys. So it's I'd say that's a highlight for the year, everything that came out, and I look forward to what's going to happen next year. And then I'd say the second one is what Adnan is doing. Like, I also really believe with the songs that came out and with these collaborations that are kind of shining an international light on the local bands, and I feel that this is amazing for all of us. Not only is it an outlet for Adnan to express himself, it's also like bringing a lot of eyes on everyone else on the scene, and it's we couldn't ask for more. That's great stuff. So thank you.
Thank you, man. Yeah, thank you. Genuinely, I appreciate that, and I'm glad that you noticed, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, we kind of do one big guest and then someone from the scene to kind of bleed into the scene a little more.
Brilliant.
Whoever we've pulled from, like Mark Hunter goes to Abzi. Whoever we've pulled from, we have Dan Sugarman from Iceland Kills. Well, I'm gonna spill all the beans, but bleeds into the next local guest.
All right.
Behind every mask there's an endless smile. Is anyone out there to show me true faces? Is anyone out there to show me? Yeah, it's hard to understand. Yeah, it's hard.
I want to hear from you guys. This just blew into my mind. What would do you want to see from the Middle East in the future? What are your visions for the future for the Middle East? Let's hear it from Maan first.
Well, like on a personal note, I feel that if there's like a yearly gathering for the scene, that would be really, really amazing. And like I feel the Dubai thing that's happening right now is maybe the start of something. So I look forward to seeing what happens next year.
Yeah,
And
I
like-
love that you said that, because that we did this unmuted metal meeting,
Oh, nice.
and it was just at a local pub, and the idea of it was I'm not gonna play anything other than regional bands, and the whole idea was for it to just be a networking place where promoters can be introduced to the new guys can be introduced to the old guard. You get to meet the people from like Abhorred and the 90s Dubai metal scene with the Callous Minds who just started last year, and I wanted to build that, and it went very well for the Dubai metal scene. But exactly what you said, I was like, we should make this regional.
Yeah.
Like my brain went to like, this is gonna be in 5 years. I want this to be XP for the metal scene. Like.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I'm so happy that you said that.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Mozej.
Well, I mean, that was a great that was a great pitch from Maan actually, but I think okay, so I'll add on that as well. Maybe more. I would love to see more venues for musicians to perform, local musicians to perform. Here in Saudi specifically, I'm talking about like I don't know. I think Dubai is different, and Bahrain is different. Bahrain is like just full on power like gigs, and local bands are playing, and they really like it's really amazing there. But I really want to see this in Saudi. I want to see more venues, and it's not just for the metal scene, by the way. Like for across the board, like there's barely any venues for blues musicians. I don't know, whatever, like these new bands that I'm seeing right now coming out of XP, like these fusion, fusion blues, Arabic kind of bands that are coming out. Like there should be more venues for them, for fans to be able to come and watch them, for them to play, so that they can come up with music, so that they can release albums, so that they can whatever, so that they can thrive. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Venues, yes, I totally agree with that, especially here in Jeddah. I think also in Riyadh there are
Reasonable price for tickets as well.
yeah, for tickets, yeah, that's as well. Unmuted. What do you want to see in the future for the Middle East?
So I'm gonna ride both of these guys' coattails. 100%. There should be something along the lines of like that metal meeting, a yearly regional alternative rock and metal get together to some degree, be it online or in person. I think we should celebrate the wins of the scene together. We should network a lot more and really approach it like it is its own entity, which it is, but I feel like a lot of the people in the scene still see it as individuals doing individual things, and bridging those gaps would be really cool. I think venues is a huge missing element in the Middle Eastern metal scene. I mean, even in Dubai, it has to be in a hotel that has a bar that happens to have a stage, and you're kind of like the afterthought. Like there are no dedicated venues here. The closest we got to when I was looking at venues was like wedding halls that had dedicated stages to be a stage. Outside of that, it's just whatever they have that's kind of a elevated surface at a bar is what we deal with. Luckily, people like Mozej and Jabir are working on things like Dubai Metal Fest was at an actual stage, which is cool. Yeah, and I think just to add on top of all of that, I think a kind of not a record label in the traditional sense, but maybe something along the lines of music management or music
Yes.
consultancy.
100%.
Somehow guide people in the right direction before they, 100% of Middle Eastern rock, metal, alternative bands are hitting the wall for the first 10 times until they figure it out. Maybe just someone to go like, the way is here, bro. Just go left.
Yeah.
Just something along those lines where they can have the professionalism of people that have been around for a while to do that. That kind of goes back to my first point with the metal meeting. But that's kind of what I tried to do with Guilty Gorilla Management with Julian, where we brought someone who, managed fucking Halo Effect and Flames, Rat, all these bands, and bring his expertise and make it exclusively for the Middle East. Unfortunately, that didn't work, but I'm still working on things like that. To be able to bring all these people that I have contact with to the Middle East, where Mozej wants to release a music video. Let's have an hour consultation with a guy that's released 3,000 music videos. What's the right approach? And have that be an asset. That's the word I was looking for. Bring some of those assets to the Middle East so that we're starting from scratch. At least we can, have some sort of a helping hand in the very beginning of it.
Man, watching all this passionate musicians, and I think what truly makes me admire the scene in here, young bands such as Callous Minds. Have you heard their latest song? Dude, this goes really on high level for releasing a song. I think the new generation and the new bands, they truly have the opportunity to get the experience from a lot of bands, such as, let's say, Adnan could give his experience on the music for, let's say, Callous Minds, new bands such as Kaiser. Mozej could work on mixing and mastering for a lot of new bands in here who, working all together for making this scene grows into more. I never thought I'd live this day to see it, to witness this with my own eyes. And there's no much more to talk about this. It's
Man,
truly
I have it tattooed on me. High tide raises all ships. When the idea of competition blows my mind. Friendly competition's very well accepted, but there was a time in the Middle Eastern metal scene where it's like you would only succeed if you bring the other one down, especially in the UAE metal scene. People would try to bring the other band down or cancel band shows or do some dumb shit to get them flagged or whatever it was for them to succeed. And it's like, I've never been about that. High tide raises all ships. If Ana Nahan get a Grammy tomorrow, I would celebrate that like it was my fucking Grammy, because that means more to the scene, to the eyeballs of everybody else, to you, to Mozej, to Abzi, that piece of shit that doesn't stop working, to everybody. You know what I mean? That's what the scene, the quote unquote scene, the word is all about to me personally. It's not a geographical location. It's a mentality. I come from a hardcore and punk background as well. I've been all about that overly obnoxiously positive mental attitude thing, and I just want to spread that as far and as wide in the region as possible, because I feel like there have been really, really good things coming from here that have just gone unheard because they just didn't network enough in the Middle Eastern metal scene. Like, just meet some more people. Just play your songs for people that have a fucking podcast or whatever, and everybody will grow together, kind of thing.
But first, I wanna mention Luna because there's something funny project, some subject she brought to me, and I was blown away by her thoughts. She told me from the international bands she enjoyed Ghost's new album, Powerwolf album, Parkway Drive, Black Veil Brides, and from the songs The Day We Left Earth, Eden. And from the local bands, she enjoyed Skeleton Crowd's album, Wasted Land, the Dark Passenger song, Unmuted, Vultures, and Purpose songs. She truly loved them, she admired them. Winterburn, Sinner Swing. Shout out to Nasser Mustarihi.
Shout out, Mr. Rih. I've known that guy since I was 10.
I know. I want to bring him on the podcast one day. And she said also, أنا نحن عسل زنجبيل وليمون. See, man, even my the Steve Shout CEO, she enjoyed the song, so that's enough. She is the CEO of Steve Shout. She's been managing this show, and from behind the scene, and I think she's gonna kill me for not. By the way, she told me something. She said, mention my list on the first thing before you talk to anyone, and I totally forgot that. I'm gonna get fired tomorrow.
You're in trouble.
And she said also wasn't Solar Eclipse and Sarai, new song.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, I was talking with Luna about before recording this episode and stuff like that. She pointed out into something I've never, it's not a thing I usually talk about, but for me, I never thought I would see Steel Shout growing into this. It's really freaking amazing. I was the guy who, I recorded my first episode using this mic. I recorded my first episode using this.
I remember it.
And dude, she told me, Ace, you got over 1,300 followers on Instagram, and while I was looking into the YouTube channels, I passed over 5k views.
Wow.
I was like, what? Why are these people looking at me? And this, for me, I wouldn't say Steel Shout is revolving around this. I think it's all about you guys. You guys made this becoming something huge. First things first, because Mozej, I want to give the credits for Mozej. He suggested this episode, by the way, and everything. Yeah, I remember we were talking about this, and you told me, hey, we should make an episode. You, me, Maan, and Unmuted. We want to talk about music, and I was like, this dude knows how to. This is gonna be something amazing. Unmuted for making this grow. Dude, I'm truly thankful for everything you did, man. Dude, from the interviews, for all your advices, for everything. If it wasn't for you, dude, Steel Shot would be still on that mic I just showed. And man, I don't know, it's really crazy. And Maan, I remember we were talking about also the fronting for the some episodes or special interviews. You told me, hey, you can do that that way. You can just grab this. You can use this front. You can. So for me, I see Steel Shout grew because all of you guys. I give you all the credits for this, for making this. I don't know. This is something I never thought I would be just talking with 3 talented artists and from the Middle East doing their best, and I'm truly thankful for that. I'm beyond happy to see that for grinding this, and it was really back in my head. I'm just doing this to enjoy myself. I'm just enjoying it, and just looking at the numbers, I was blown away.
So I have a couple of things to add to that. First of all, thank you. I genuinely appreciate that. I think what you're experiencing is what I hope every musician from the region should experience, is that connectivity, that drawing inspiration, that advice that you can get, that whole I don't know how to explain it, but like it's a union basically, you know what I mean? Like it's that thing where you can just turn to people and be like, hey, he's good at that thing. I have the freedom and the ability to ask about that, or get some advice from someone that does this thing better than me. That's one of the things that I was talking about. But also I just wanted to add, especially because I've been doing it a little longer than you have. Fuck the numbers. There are no small creators. There's no such thing as 1,300 versus 13 versus 13,000. It doesn't fucking matter. I think that's one of the things that we get tied up in as a scene in the region. And even though I just read the Spotify fucking Wrapped thing that was just there, it just, I didn't even know about it until you guys mentioned it, because if that was the goal, then it wouldn't. I don't know how to wrap it up. Like, just don't fuck the numbers. Just don't worry about the numbers. Do it for you, and do it for you only, and do it for the people that appreciate it, and it'll grow eventually. I don't think the numbers matter. It's just the way I've been doing.
No, this
things
is
for a while.
your growth, Ace, is like a reflection of basically all the hard work that you've been putting. I mean, I remember when I first saw your account, it was like I think you had like 400, 500 followers or something like that. But like with the kind of persistence that you've been doing, and the podcast, and like you reaching out to all these people, and it's a reflection of also the growth of the scene as well at the same time. But it's also a reflection of your hard work, and now you're like the go-to person in the scene, you know, like every time someone wants to do an interview in the scene here, when whatever, what was it, Immortal Pain, or even Ana Nahna, I think, for the launch of the Zanjabil Asal Laymoon, and they always ask, you know, bring Steel Shot, let him do the interviews. When Gigi did the workshop here, you know, and the gentleman, yeah, you know, she asked you to come and do the interview, and so. Yeah, you know, like just keep going at it and keep growing this thing and see where it goes, man. And also we rely on you. We depend on you as well on spreading our, our name. So yeah, thank you for that.
Man, I truly appreciate every one of you. And by the way, guys, there was a thing that was that was in the back of my head. I want to say it. You three. You three.
There you go.
You three.
Mm-hmm.
You should make a song together. See?
I'd love to.
See? You can make
I'm
you can make a project. It's gonna be a progressive grindcore blackened gent.
Yeah, I don't even know.
No,
I don't even know what I bring to the table, but I will scream and do my 8/7 5/3 riffs over anything. You guys.
No, dude, that would be amazing. Seeing your three, you know, if I think one of the artists that the collaborate, you know, what I truly also loved about the scene, the collaborations that's been going on. I'm working with Abzi, working with Rayyan Bailuni, Mozej with Kaiser. I really want to see more of this because it makes me happy to see these artists are working together. Hamandi also worked with Sarai for mixing and mastering for their songs as well.
And shout out for that fucking EP he dropped as well.
Oh yeah.
It was a gangster fucking E EP.
It was delicious.
It was so well done.
Yeah, it was really, really well done. Shout out to Wall of Sound for all their hard work. And speaking of Wall of Sound, Immortal Pain, they went international on all the news. Have you seen that, guys? They were on,
Those guys went viral.
yeah, they went viral on Metal Injection. What else? I was like, wait, these are the guys from my hometown. How they are on this page? Freaking
Yeah, good
amazing.
for them.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for them. Hopefully that little bit of exposure also exposed these outlets to us here,
Hmm.
and hopefully the conversation stops being, oh, look at these, you know, people from Saudi, and oh, you're super, oh my God, look, it's so novel that they play metal and I don't know what they're to, just like covering us normally and just talking about our music.
That was my first thought too. It's like, oh, the first band to play. I think the title was first band to play an open air show in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that's cool. But then, what's the next album that was released from Saudi Arabia? You know what I mean? Like, let's talk more about that. I think that's where we need to push a little harder. And fuck it, Metal Hammer doesn't want to post it. Still Shouting Unmuted will. Like, we'll make our own Metal Hammer.
Yeah, exactly. Last but not least, guys, thank you for your time, for being on this
Thanks for having
episode.
us.
I truly, truly appreciate being here on the podcast, and it's truly an honor to have you here.
No, it was fun, man. This was really good. We should
Thank
do
you
it
so
again.
much.
If you have any last words before we wrap it up, start.
High
Love
Tide
you, long
raises all ships.
What?
Support your local scene. High Tide raises all ships. There you go.
Mozej,
And
Consume local.
consume local, man.
all the best for 2023.
And Happy New Year.
Oh no! Wait, I have it. See you next year, guys.
Juju.
Nice.
Oh wait, I'm not the drummer. Man should be doing it.
Yeah.
Where are my sticks? Can't find my sticks.
For everyone who's listening and watching to this interview for this episode, thank you for watching this episode, listening to it, and please, guys, follow these amazing, talented people. Ana Nahn, Mozej, Unmuted. Follow them. All the links in the description. Everything is there. You can follow them, listen to their music, give them this, show them some love, show them some support. And Steel Shout is also available on YouTube and all streaming platforms. I have Patreon if you want to support the show as well. I would appreciate every cent if you're spending there on the Patreon. And well, we'll see you next year. As Mozej said, we'll see you next year. And
Wait. Why don't you promote your Patreon a little more? I didn't even know you had a Patreon.
because I forget I have a Patreon.
Okay, cool. So everybody listening to this, go fucking subscribe to Patreon. It's probably like $5 a month, and you get to support the homeboy.
But there's no OnlyFans, right? There's no OnlyFans. Yeah.
I have an OnlyFans, yes, but it's only dedicated to one person a month. Yeah,
Okay.
and I have someone that is already booked the next 6 years.
I'm waiting for my OnlyFans subscription. Guys, I truly appreciate it for your time, and
man.
see ya. And Happy New Year.